What if what you thought was over was actually beginning again? You thought love had forgotten you, that the door had closed once and for all. But without you realizing it, Allah may be reopening it, slowly, silently, but surely. A discreet message in your heart, a new, different presence, a peace you've never felt. What if it wasn't a coincidence? What if it was a divine response to invocations you'd almost forgotten? This isn't just a love story. It's a spiritual reminder, a sign of mercy, a new beginning that only Allah's will could grant. In this video, discover the subtle signs that the door is opening again, and how to prepare yourself, this time not to close it. Stay with me until the end, because this message could transform your vision of love and destiny forever. 1. The time of the heart, when Allah heals before uniting. There are silences that are not absences, but divine care. You sometimes think that nothing is moving, that your heart is waiting for nothing, that this endless pause in your emotional life is a punishment or an injustice. But if you look with the eyes of faith, you will see that this waiting is actually a mercy carefully placed by Allah to rebuild you before entrusting you with another soul. What you believe to be emptiness is in reality a sacred place that your Lord is inhabiting. You see, Allah never unites two hearts without first working on them from within. He does not place love where the heart is still filled with ancient shadows. He doesn't offer a noble bond to a heart that still seeks illusory attachments. He cleanses you. He purifies you. He elevates you through pain, through silence, through absence, before introducing you to the love He has chosen for you. There comes a moment in the life of a heart when you realize that it wasn't a person you needed. It was a return to your essence. It was a reconnection to your own breath, to your own inner light, the one that Allah placed within you long before you knew the word love. This moment of solitude, this moment of apparent emptiness, is perhaps the most spiritual moment of your existence. For it is there that you straighten up, there that you find yourself, there that you return to Allah sincerely, without decoration, without mask, without lies. And when you return to Him, He begins to repair what you yourself believed was beyond repair. He heals not to erase the past, but to reconcile you with it, so that you no longer carry shame, but wisdom, so that your scars become signs of experience and not chains of bitterness. And it is only after this divine healing, that true love can enter. Not a love of dependence, not a love that demands constant proof, reassurance, and validation, but a love that exudes Allah's serenity, patience, and humility. You are no longer looking for an emotional crutch. You no longer need to be saved. You are no longer waiting for a human being to give you what only Allah can offer inner peace. You don't want someone to complete you, but someone with whom to complete your worship. And that's when the quiet miracle happens. A person enters your life, perhaps quietly, without emotional outbursts, without excessive promises. But you feel a peace, a soft light, a stability. You understand that it's not a crush, it's divine permission. But this permission is only given after purification. And this purification hurts. Sometimes you have to lose. You have to be betrayed. You have to be rejected. You have to be ignored. You have to be made to feel unwanted, not because Allah wants to humiliate you, but because He wants to teach you that your love must belong to Him first, before it belongs to anyone else. The time of the heart is that moment between two stories, that moment when you are no longer where you were, but not yet where you want to be. This is the exact place where Allah invites you to love Him more deeply, to love yourself more healthily, to understand that human love is an extension of divine rahmah, never a substitute. You are not wasting time. You are growing invisibly. You are becoming the person your future partner will implore Allah for in their du'as. And perhaps, on their part too, Allah is rebuilding them, purifying them, making them healthy, so that your two paths will only meet when they are ready. Not ready to be happy, ready to be true, ready to love for good, ready to love for Allah. 2. The test before the encounter. Recognizing the open door. There is a subtlety in the way Allah guides. You often wait for a spectacular sign, an upheaval, a strong emotion that would strike your heart like an indisputable certainty. But in His wisdom, Allah does not always work with a bang. Sometimes, He opens the door silently. And if you are not attentive, if your heart is still too cluttered with expectations of what you want to see, you risk missing it. Because He doesn't always send you what you want. He sends you what your soul truly needs. This need isn't expressed in butterflies or shivers. It is expressed in a strange calm. That calm you feel when this person enters your life. That inner silence that tells you, I am not in danger here. That gaze you cast upon him, her, without agitation, but with a form of respect, of consideration, as if your heart finally recognized a direction. It's not a fire. It's a soft light. It's not an obsession. It's a constancy. You don't feel the fear of losing him, her. Rather, you feel the responsibility not to damage this bond. And that's when you begin to understand that the door may be opening. But the test begins here. For between the hands of Allah and the wiles of Shaitan, there is a very thin space where illusion and truth resemble each other. Two paths may seem identical at first glance. Gentleness, promises, attraction, emotional closeness. But one pulls you toward the light. The other gently leads you astray. So how do you distinguish what Allah sends you from what Shaitan presents to you as an opportunity? Listen to your heart with a purified ear, not one of emotion or quick attachment, but one of dhikr. For a heart connected to Allah reacts differently. It senses things the eyes cannot see. You will recognize the right door not by the intensity of the feeling, but by the direction it gives you. Does this person make you want to pray with more concentration? Do you feel more at peace with yourself when they are around? Has your connection with Allah improved since you met? These are the real questions. Not, am I addicted to them? Or do I think about them all day? True souls sent by Allah do not spark a consuming fire. They fuel a steady inner fire that lights your path instead of blinding you. But be careful, because Shaitan is also patient. He knows you're looking for a sign, so he sends you a doppelganger of destiny, someone who will say the right words, who will know how to touch the sensitive strings of your heart, who will know exactly how to enter your life with just the right amount of apparent sincerity. He doesn't present evil to you in an obvious way. He wraps the illusion in a package of coincidences, strong feelings, rare connections, and you might believe it if you don't have a firm connection with your Creator. That's why istikhara is a weapon, an armor, a light in the gray areas. It's not just a formality. It's a declaration of dependence on Allah and a decision your heart doesn't yet know how to handle. You don't pray istikhara to get that person. You pray to be saved from yourself if it's not the right path. You pray that gentleness isn't a trap, that beautiful appearances don't hide a destructive direction. You pray to recognize the light, even if it comes in a form that doesn't immediately appeal to you. You don't need a movie script. You need truth. And sometimes the truth hides behind a silent door where no one looks, except you. It takes discernment, and this discernment can't be bought. It is cultivated in the silence of prostration, in the trust that Allah has already saved you from certain things, without you understanding why.
He will save you again, even from your own desires. The real test isn't the person. It's your ability to stay connected to Allah even when you believe they're finally the one. Because it's not the right one that will lead you to Him. It's walking with it, in His direction.
3. A second chance is no less noble. Love can return purer. You've loved before, and perhaps that memory has become a pain you carry like a secret scar. There are nights when you wonder, was that my only chance? Did I give everything for nothing? The past weighs heavily. It doesn't fade easily. It reminds you of itself in a perfume, a song, a date. It returns without warning, even after years. But what you sometimes forget is that Allah doesn't measure the value of your love by chronology, but by sincerity. Just because it wasn't for life doesn't mean it wasn't true. And just because it didn't last doesn't mean love can't be reborn. You see, in Islam, love isn't a straight line. This isn't a single chapter to be read in one breath, without error or deletion. It's a winding path, a sometimes painful learning process, a series of choices, where each step brings you a little closer to what Allah truly wants for you. So why do you think the second chance would be less noble than the first? Because you fell? Because you failed? Because you didn't know how to keep love? But who said the value of a heart is measured by its ability to never fall? In truth, the nobility of a heart is measured by its ability to get back up and to love again. And this time, with a wisdom you didn't have before. Before, perhaps, you loved to be saved. You loved to fill a void, to escape loneliness, to live that dream everyone sells on social media. You gave yourself entirely without reserve, thinking that love would heal all your wounds. But today, something has changed. You no longer want to be saved. You want to walk alongside someone, not to escape your pain, but to face it together. You no longer want a love that puts you to sleep, but a love that awakens. You want someone who won't turn you away from your spiritual path, but who will encourage you to return even stronger to Allah. And this change is purity. For pure love is not recognized by its intensity. It is recognized by its direction. You can love a second time, even a third time, and be more sincere than ever, more present, more attentive, more at peace. Because this time, you know that it is not the other who carries your life, but Allah. And it is He who decides when your heart deserves rebirth. Don't let anyone make you believe that you can no longer love with dignity. Don't let the past condemn you to a form of solitude that God never imposed on you. You may have been divorced. You may have been left. You may have loved someone who never knew how to love you back. So what? Does that diminish your worth? Does that erase you from God's plan? Nothing can erase what Allah intended for you. And if today your heart is capable of loving again, it is a sign of life, a sign of faith. Love doesn't become impure because it returns. It becomes nobler because you return to it with greater awareness. And sometimes what you called first love was only preparation. It's only after the mistakes, the losses, the questioning, that you finally understand what a love aligned with heaven truly is. It's not a perfect love, but it's a deep-rooted love, one that doesn't depend on the emotion of the moment, one that doesn't run away when challenged, one that doesn't change with the mood. It's a love that prays, that waits, that builds. And this isn't a rescue love. Perhaps it's the love Allah intended from the beginning. Perhaps your first relationship wasn't your last hope, but your first lesson. Perhaps the person who arrives today isn't coming to fix you, but to walk alongside you into a new chapter, truer, stronger, more spiritual. Never despise a second chance, for Allah doesn't offer you a repeat. He offers you an elevation. 4. When the door opens, move forward with faith, not fear. There comes a moment when the heart senses that something is changing, an opening, a calming, a silent call. A direction is emerging, and yet at that moment another feeling emerges. Fear. Yes, fear. Not the fear of the bad, but the fear of the almost good, the fear of what if it fails again, the fear of I don't want to relive the same pain. It's natural. You were broken where you thought you were safe. You thought you had found it, but you were wrong. You gave your heart, and you found it scattered in your own silences. So now, even when Allah opens a door for you, you hesitate. But listen carefully. It is not your fear that should guide you. It is your faith. Allah didn't bring you here to make you fall back into error. He didn't purify you, rebuild you, realign you, only to plunge you back into chaos. This isn't a trap. This isn't a repeat of the past. Perhaps it's the beginning of what your soul has long been calling for. Fear is the voice of your past. Faith is the echo of your future. Go forward with faith, not because you're sure of that person, not because you have all the signs in your hands, but because you're sure of the one who opens the door for you. And if Allah opens, who can close it? And if He closes, who can force your way in? The opening of the door doesn't mean everything will be easy, but it does mean you have permission to try. And sometimes, that's all it takes. You see, many people wait for love with endless lists, demands, and fears. We want someone who matches exactly what we've envisioned. And if something doesn't click right away, we panic. We want immediate confirmation, a trigger, a miracle. But love doesn't always arrive in the package of your expectations. Sometimes it comes as simple tranquility, like, hey, that's weird. I'm not afraid with this person. Or, I feel close to Allah when I talk to him, her. And that's where faith begins, in that strange calm. Now is the time to choose. Either you let fear win and run away out of excessive caution, but you might be missing out on what Allah has prepared for you. Or you move forward, slowly, consciously, without rushing, but without running away either. Because trusting in Allah isn't about remaining fixed. It's about moving toward what He shows you, even if your heart trembles a little. And be careful. Moving forward with faith doesn't mean jumping in head first. It doesn't mean getting attached too quickly. It doesn't mean confusing sign with certainty. It means moving forward with tawakkul. It means making the right choices, asking the right questions, observing, listening, and dialoguing, all while keeping your heart attached to Allah and not to the person. It means saying to Him in your dua, Ya Rab, if this connection is good for my faith, my life, my heart, then make it easier. And if it takes me away from you, then gently turn it away from me, and gently turn me away from it. And then once you've done that, move forward. Be sincere, be honest. Don't play a role. Don't over-adapt your words. Be true, even if it's scary. Be modest, not in your appearance, but in your intention. Seek a connection that pleases Allah, not one that flatters your ego. And above all, don't be ashamed to believe in it again. This time, it's not a teenage dream. It's not a whim of solitude. It's not an emotional escape. It's a journey with God in your heart, in your words, in your silence. And you will never be alone in building this connection if Allah is between you. Because it's not the world that gives you this person. It's not chance. It's your Lord. So don't let your fear steal what He sends you. Because maybe this time, it's the right one. Love, in its purest form, is never an accident. It's a decree, a mercy, a trust that Allah places between two souls so that they may journey together toward Him. If your heart once again feels that warmth, that sincere attraction, that inner calm, Don't ignore it. It may be a sign that the door has reopened and that you are invited to enter with greater wisdom, faith, and maturity. Don't keep this reminder to yourself. Share this video with someone who is still waiting for their door to open, and tell me in the comments, have you ever felt love return when you no longer expected it? I want to read your story because it might inspire other hearts that are still closed. Subscribe so you don't miss future spiritual reminders on love, relationships, and the subtle signs that Allah sends us at the perfect time. Because sometimes the greatest proof of love is a door that Allah reopens when everyone thought it was sealed forever.